Good morning, everybody. It's was the first night in the Southern Pacific for Karl and I. I slept like a rock, but I surely feel as if a train hit me. Like all my back muscles are hurting, my arms and my legs. It's pretty sore. I surely look like a truck hit me. But it was a very beautiful, calm night as far as I can tell. I think I was out at light. I slept in the cockpit because it's just, I love it when you arrive and you know, you still kind of like in the mood of the passage and you just still sleep in the cockpit. I just like it. I love sleeping outside. Anyways, I woke up in this really pretty bay. The birds are chirping and I anchored not too badly for coming in at night. Pretty spot on. And I think it's time for a little ocean dip because it's so hot. Wow, I could have a massive freshwater shower today because I'll be having water very soon. Oh, nice! Such a splurge. When I dropped anchor last night, well, didn't really drop it because my windlass was totally stuck, so I have to re-grease it quickly. To be doing like 4 knots, 4.25 possibly. We're doing 3.4, but that's alright. We'll use whatever we can use. I assume when we come around the corner it'll be on our nose anyways, unfortunately, so we'll play as long as we can. the point where I'm gonna meet the pilot boat. I'm gonna take in my sails now, still 4.6 knots. There's a lot of shallows here, so I don't really want to sail around those spots too much. I'm a little bit worried because I tried to call them on 69, which you're supposed to call it, and I tried to call them on 16 to tell them that I'm here. I mean, I talked to René this morning, who runs the marina, and he said he was going to send out a pilot boat at 7. It's 5 to 7, but obviously there's still time, but it's just weird that nobody answers the radio at all. And I mean, I'm still out in America, so I guess I'll wait first of all until it's 7 to get worried, and then 7:15, and then I'll get a little. It's getting dark, which is not so cool either. And I read that it's not so good to throw your anchor here because the fishing boats go in and out at night, so not the coolest spot to do that. So fingers crossed that they're gonna come soon. This was quite the ride. Ariosto guided Karl and me into Bahia Caracas. We nearly went like surfing on the beach. Seriously, we were so close. It was nearly breaking underneath Karl's keels. But he did a super good job. The shallowest part we went over was like 1.9 meters of depth, so way easy for Karl to go over that. We're 2 hours early for high tide, so only because I have shallow draft, they actually took me in at this time of the night. And now I'm about to pick up a mooring and get some food into my bellies. Yeah! Man, this is a huge place. Like from changing from Bahia Solano and at sea and now coming to this place. Quite the shock of civilization. Well, you know how I often say I don't really feel like a sailor because, you know, I haven't done any crazy massive passages, and because I have all these anxieties like before departure. And I had really asked this trip to be like a showing to me, like somehow, I don't know, I just thought that this trip would be telling me something, or I was asking it to tell me something. And I was getting quite frustrated on the way because, you know, the wind wasn't as predicted, so I had to motor quite a bit, and that always makes me really angry. And, you know, the autopilot was not even the biggest issue. It was really just no wind and a lot of motoring that made me really upset. And it kind of pushed me in a direction of kind of like, you know, like having some negative feelings about it. And then anytime the wind picked up and Karl started sailing, and he sailed so beautifully. He is such a beautiful sailing boat, really. I know that some people might not believe that, but ask people who've sailed him, he is a beautiful sailing boat. He doesn't go upwind that well, that's true, but if he has the wind on the nose, he's a rider. He loves going upwind. I mean, 60 degrees. That's as upwind as he goes. Anyways, what I wanted to say is, anytime that the wind picked up and I rolled out the sails, I did feel in my element and it felt good, but then, you know, I was kind of like put down by the moments of motoring again. Now, the equator crossing, the whole day, there's has been doldrums. There was no wind at all, and as soon as Karl and I came into the southern hemisphere, the wind picked up magically. And I had the night before, I hadn't really gotten any sleep. I think I slept for an hour maximum, and I had been on the tiller since 1 a.m. in the morning, steering from then till the equator crossing, which was at 6 o'clock, with maybe 3 little breaks in between of like twice half an hour and once the hour of preparing for the equator crossing. So I had been steering quite a bit, pretty sleep deprived, everything, my whole body was aching, it was insane. And you would have thought that by that time, you know, one gets a little bit exhausted and doesn't want to go anywhere anymore. So we crossed the equator, which was beautiful. It was such a magical moment. And then the wind picked up, and it was just, for some reason, like this, my whole body like had all this power all of a sudden. I still had 20 more miles to go, I think 25 or something, to the anchorage, and the sun had just come down, so it was getting night, and Karl and I started sailing, and he was just cruising along, beautiful half wind sail. The stars came out. It was the whole sky was loaded with stars. It was like they were everywhere. It was so beautiful, and I was full of energy. I was so energized by it all. And it got night, it was dark, and I was cruising along the shoreline, and I could see the little lights of the villages twinkle, and there was the phosphorescence in the water, and the beautiful sound that you hear from the ocean when your hull is parting the waves, and you hear the wind moving your boat along. And I just sat there on the tiller, and I felt it all. I felt Karl, I felt the ocean, I felt the stars, and just earth. You know, I thought about the people living on the land, and about the ocean critters below me, and whatever might be there above us. And it was just, it felt so right. It was like this massive epiphany. You know, it was what I'd asked for, like a showing. And it revealed itself to me. And I think it was kind of like a proof to me that the ocean does run through my veins, and I do love sailing. I love exploring the world from the ocean. And I might not be the crazy passage maker. I mean, who's to say I haven't done one yet, but you know, that maybe that's not me. But that's okay too. That doesn't mean that I'm not a sailor. It doesn't mean that I'm not an ocean creature. And you know, it doesn't make my love for this life on the water any less valid or any less special for myself. And it's, yeah, it was strong. It was a strong moment. It was a very strong moment. You can tell that I'm still kind of touched by it. But yeah, I just wanted to share it with you because it was damn magical. Damn magical. Yeah. I'll see you out there. But more about that next week.